Hi Joseph, would you like a story? Shall I read you some books? I've got some books here, look. Book. You ready? Left foot, right foot, right. There are feet in the day and feet in the night. Left foot, right. Wet foot, dry foot, low foot, high foot. Front feet, back feet, feet. Red feet, black feet, left foot, right foot, feet. How many feet you meet? Slow feet. Quick feet. Trick feet. Sick feet. Up feet. Down feet. Here come clown feet. Small feet, big feet. Here come pig feet. His feet, her feet. Fuzzy wuzzy Furby. In the house and on the street, how many feet you meet? Up in the air feet, over a chair feet. More and more feet, 24 feet. Here come more and more feet. Left foot, right foot, feet. How many different feet you meet? The end. It's a good one, isn't it? Shall we read this book? This is called Harry Maclary from Donaldson's Dairy. Out of the gates and off for a walk went Harry Maclary from Donaldson's Dairy. There he is, walking. And Hercules' Morse, as big as a horse, with Harry Maclary from Donaldson's Dairy. Bottomly pots, all covered in spots. And Harry Maclary from Donaldson's Dairy. Muffin lay like a bundle of hay. Bottomly pots covered in spots. Hercules' Morse as big as an horse. And Harry Maclary from Donaldson's Dairy. There's two birds, look. Bits of Maloney all skinny and bony. Muffin lay like a bundle of hay. Bottomly pots covered in spots. Hercules' Morse as big as a horse. And Harry Maclary from Donaldson's Dairy. Schnitzel von Crumb with a very low tum. Bits of Maloney all skinny and bony. Muffin lay like a bundle of hay. Bottomly pots covered in spots. Hercules' Morse as big as a horse. And Harry Maclary from Donaldson's Dairy. With their tails in the air, they trotted on down, past the school and the shops to the far end of town. They sniffed at the smells, and they snooped at each door, when suddenly, out of the shadows they saw Scarface Claw. Look at him. Whoa, where is he? Hard to know where the camera is. The toughest Tom in town. Meow, said Scarface Claw. Off with a yowl, a wail and a howl. A scatter of paws and a clatter of claws went Schnitzel von Crumb with a very low tum. Bits of Maloney all skinny and bony. Muffin lay like a bundle of hay. Bottomly pots covered in spots. Hercules' Morse as big as a horse. And Harry Maclary from Donaldson's Dairy. who went straight back home to his bed. Now, shall I show you Scarface Claw? I've got a real one here. Come and say hello. Yeah. Here's the real Scarface Claw. Right, time for another book. This one is called Dragon in a Wagon. Sometimes we call it Susie Fogg, don't we? Susie Fogg took Sam her dog along by Jackson stream. And as they walked, Susie talked and dreamed of a wishful dream. Sam, she said, you're very good. You never bark or bite. The holes you dig are not too big, and you're always home at night. But just for once it might be fun if you change from dog, she said, into something huge or something odd or something fierce instead. Let me see. You could be a dragon in a wagon. There he is, look. Or a bat wearing a hat. Shall I put the hat on? I've got a hat here. Nice. Or a snake eating cake. He's eating it all down, look. Or a gnu with the flu. Or a whale in a pail. Or a giraffe with a scarf. A chimp with a limp. Or a yak on his back. Or a moose on the loose. Or a lizard in a blizzard. A shark in the dark. But then a mossy log tripped Susie Fogg. She tumbled to the ground. She wiped off all the mud, and then she looked around and found no sharks, no bats, no hairy yaks, no dragons in a jam, just the face, the friendly face, the doggy face of Sam. It's a good book. Can you? Oh, the wonderful sounds Mr. Brown can do. He can sound like a cow. He can go moo, moo. He can sound like a bee. Mr. Brown can bzz. How about you? Can you go bzz, bzz? He can sound like a cork. He can sound like horse feet. He can sound like a rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. He can sound like an owl. Hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo. Mr. Brown can do it. What about you? He can sound like the rain. Dibble, 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 dop, dop, dop. He can sound like a clock. He can sound like Joseph's hand on the table. Knock, knock, knock. Mr. Brown is a wonder. Mr. Brown makes thunder. He makes lightning, splat, 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 and it's very, very hard to make a noise like that. Mr. Brown can whisper, whisper, very soft, very high, like the soft, soft whisper of a butterfly. Maybe you can too. I think you ought to try. Oh, the wonderful sounds Mr. Brown can do. Why don't you try to do them too? Let's do a sniff. Turn the page and read them through. Moo, moo, buzz, buzz, pop, pop, clop. Cock-a-doodle-doo, hoo-hoo, dibble-dibble-dop. Tick-tock, knock, knock. Boom, boom, splat. And last, a whisper, whisper. And that is that. And do you know something? The cat is listening to the stories because he thinks they're really nice, which is quite funny. We do another book. Dogs never climb trees. Now a dog to remember is Schnitzel von Krumm. With his very short legs and his very low tongue, he can bury a bone in a minute or two. There are many remarkable things he can do. He can hide in a woodpile of branches and twigs, and he disappears into the holes that he digs. He fetches the paper, his rug and his bowl. Sometimes his fetching gets out of control. He can hustle and tease with the greatest of ease. But everybody knows dogs never climb trees. He can gallop and scamper round bushes and bends. He has to run fast to keep up with his friends. He scatters the birds when they're taking a bath, and he sloshes the water all over the path. He can hustle and tease with the greatest of ease, but everyone knows dogs never climb trees. He can ride on a skateboard, he teeters on top, and he flies through the air when it comes to a stop. His nose is so certain, his sniff so sound. He can rustle a rabbit from deep in the ground. There's the rabbit, look. He can roll in the mud, he can wallow and play, till he changes from brown to a globulous grey. He can hustle and tease with the greatest of ease, but everyone knows that dogs never climb trees. But if they are bold and adventurous too, it might just be possible. Maybe they do. Peepo. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3. Stands in his cot. What does he see? Peepo. He sees his father sleeping in the big brass bed, and his mother too, with a hairnet on her head. He sees the shadows moving on the bedroom wall, and the sun at the window, and his teddy and a ball. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits in his high chair. What does he see? Looks a bit like Billy. Look. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits in his high chair. What does he see? Peepo. He sees his mother pouring hot porridge in a bowl, and his father in the doorway with a bucket full of coal. He sees his sisters skipping in the yard outside, and his grandma pegging washing on the clothesline to be dried. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits in his pushchair. What does he see? Peepo. He sees a bonfire smoking and pigeons in the sky, and his mother cleaning windows and a dog going by. He sees his sister searching for a jar or a tin to take up to the park and catch fishes in. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits on the grass. What does he see? Peepo! He sees his sisters fishing with a brown stocking net, and dresses tucked in knickers and legs all shiny wet. He sees the tassels blowing on his grandma's shawl, and the fringe on the pushchair, and his teddy, and his ball. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits on his sister's lap. What does he see? Peepo! He sees his grandma ironing and his father pouring tea. And his other sister squabbling, she wants him on her knee. He sees his mother dozing in the easy chair and a dog in the doorway who shouldn't be there. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits in his bathtub. What does he see? Peepo! He sees his father kneeling with his sleeves rolled up and the flannel on the table and the soap in a cup. He sees his nightie warming on the oven door and his sisters on the clothes horse with puddles on the floor. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, on his way to bed. What does he see? Peepo! He sees the landing mirror with its rainbow rim and a mother with a baby who's just like him. He sees the bedroom door, the cot made ready, his father kissing him goodnight, and his ball and his teddy. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, fast asleep and dreaming. What did he see? And that is the end of my stories today. See you soon, Joseph. Bye.